Hello, my name is Emily Rizak, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience and my methods with the Statistical Analysis project. My hypothesis for this project was that Catholics are more likely to oppose the death penalty for persons convicted of murder. The theory behind this and the reasoning was because Catholics, with prior knowledge of the Catholic Church, they are known to promote abolishing the death penalty worldwide, and there's been many Catholic-funded movements to try to stop legislation from passing the death penalty in any states. One of the literature reviews in my paper, just to touch on, talked about Pope John Paul II and how much he did, and how there's evidence of how just him being the elite leader of the church was able to sway many Catholics' opinions on the death penalty, because data was collected from before his passing and after on people's views, and there was a increase in people favoring after, when they didn't have a pope for a period, which I found to be very interesting. That's an internal factor that religion, inside of religion, that could play into people's whether or not they favor or oppose the death penalty. So I use the General Social Survey, which collects data yearly to track changes of public opinion and basically the structure of how people think every single year. And we use the 2021 one, which I found very interesting because in the GSS codebook, they noted multiple times that since so much happened in 2021 with the COVID-19 pandemic and the unfortunate killings of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and the civil unrest that came from those events, they noted at least 5 times throughout the codebook that also plays a big role in how public opinion has changed on certain views in regards to whether it's race or probably education and how much money the government should be giving, because we all just experienced within a year the effects of the pandemic that it had on people's finances. Just thought it was very interesting. Getting into the methods I used for my data, I first recoded my variables, which for my independent variable, which was religious preference, there was 13 labeled values of different religions. And since Catholic fits with my hypothesis, I labeled Catholic as the highest one, and all the other 13 religions, or whether it was other or missing, I put into an other category at 0, and then 1 was Catholic. And then for my dependent variable, which was do you favor or oppose the death penalty, I wanted to focus on oppose since that was in my hypothesis. So I made that valued 1 and favor valued 0. And then for my control, I was for political party affiliation. The valued labels were strongly Democrat, lightly Democrat, independent, other, not sure, strongly Republican. So I put everything except strongly Democrat into an other category at 0. And then Democrat at 1, just because with background knowledge of the political parties, the Democratic Party typically opposes the death penalty and is pro-abolishing it, while conservatives lean more towards keeping it, as they're more towards harsher criminal punishment and keeping the death penalty. So we ran regression tables between my independent variable and my dependent variable and my control variable. And I got in my R-squared value 11.1%, which implies that knowing one's religion and political party explains 11.1% of the variation among their whether or not they favor or oppose the death penalty. And we also did the coefficient chart, and you can see the individual religious preference. My P-value was 0.165, which means that the relationship is insignificant at a 0.05 level. P equals 0.165. Because of this, I had no coefficients to interpret because my independent variable was insignificant, and so there was nothing to really go from there. I did find that my control variable, political party affiliation, had a p-value of 0.001, so that was significant, which I noted for like further research, using that as like maybe the independent variable. But from there, I had to conclude that my hypothesis was not supported because with the p-value being insignificant, then there's really little to no evidence that it could be supported in any way. Thank you.